Hi, I'm Dave Wurzel, and you're watching PHTV4 Spotlight. Today's Spotlight is on the robotics team at Chicago Christian High School in Palos Heights. And with me, we're very fortunate. I've got the coach on my left, Ryan Verver. Thank you, Coach, for being here. And then on my left and on my right, I've got Jacob and Ryan, a couple of guys on the team who make this thing happen. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Coach Verver, if you could tell us maybe a little bit about yourself first as a teacher and coach at Chicago Christian, and then I'd like to hear how you got this team started.
Yeah, very well. My name's Ryan Verver, and I've been teaching for 25 years. The first 20 years of my teaching was at one of our feeder schools, so I taught 8th grade there. And then I went to Bradley Bourbonnais High School down south towards Kankakee, and that's where I picked up this whole idea of working with robots, ran the team down there. And I've been back at Chicago Christian for 2 years now, teaching chemistry here at the school. This is our robotics program. It follows FIRST Robotics, which is an organization that has several different levels of robotics. There's robotics for the younger kids using Legos, this robotics for the high school level, and then there's a larger robotics team that uses robots that are, fill arenas and that sort of stuff as well. So this is kind of the middle of the 3 levels of robotics that we use. And this is a program, we got about 15 kids involved. The game is released the first weekend in September. So every year the game is different, so we really don't know what we have to do with the robot until the first week of September. Then we got to design it, we've got to build it, we've got to program it, and then we've done 3 meets already, one in November, one in December, and one in January, and our state qualifier is coming up soon. And so we bring the robot, we compete with other teams, local teams from the area, and try to do some different tasks. This year it's picking up little pixels, putting them on a backdrop, shooting little paper airplanes, and trying to hang from a truss.
I like it that this does all that, and we're going to get a mini demonstration, I think, of some of that in a little bit. Congratulations on the longevity of your career, 20 years, that's awesome, and obviously congratulations to Chicago Christian getting you back in the Southwest school system, right? And bringing this along, that's wonderful. Jacob and Ryan, I want to ask you guys a little bit first about your role in the design. As Coach mentioned, you have to design it, you have to build it, you have to program it, build it, all those phases. Can you talk about what your role was in each part of that?
I am in charge of designing and building the robot. So what that involves is not only just in practice, but constantly thinking about how can I make this work for this competition? How can I make this robot hang? How can I make it pick up these pixels as fast as possible? And so when I'm doing that, I also have to think about Ryan's job, coding, and so that I don't make anything too crazy that he can't code and anything he wouldn't be able to implement into his code.
So there is an element of where you're doing your phase of it, but you very much have to work as a team to make the whole thing come together. Ryan, you want to talk about what the coding was like for this, how difficult and what the process was like for you?
Sure. So I'm the coder of the team, so it's my job to make sure that everything works properly and smoothly, and part of that is making sure that our robot is precise in its movements, especially in the autonomous period, which is when the robot moves on its own, and then also when we're driving it. So I make sure that everything is smooth and it runs as well as it can.
So as a kind of a follow-up to because I want to ask you, you're talking about some of the things it can do. You mentioned some of the challenges and the tasks it has. Can you talk about the challenges then in that, you design it and then he programs. I'm sure there's some back and forth there, and then you're like, oh, we got to tweak this or adjust that. Can you talk about that part of it a little bit, Jacob?
Yeah, so when I'm working, so I have to work directly with Ryan when I'm designing it. I have to talk to him and see what we can code because I have a basic background in coding. I don't know the exact language we code in, but I understand the logic behind it. So I got to communicate with Ryan and make sure, for example, our grabber, we had an issue with it where I was not communicating with Ryan too well, and we had a little programming issue that we found early on in our practice.
I don't want to cut you off, but I want to ask, because you mentioned the grabber, is that the green thing out front?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. And then you guys, were you both part of the construction of it, or is there another person who was in on that?
There were other people. I didn't really build as much as more think about the designs and tell them my ideas, and then they built it.
Okay, so you could say they built this, and then you come up with a way to make that physical thing move in that way. Okay. So you mentioned you've had some competition so far. Can you talk a little bit, Coach, how has the team done so far? How do you look going into the end of your season here?
Yeah, our current record is 6-4, which again is pretty good for a team in its second year. We actually have played 15 matches. They allow every team to drop their 5 of their losses. So through those 15 matches, we ended up with 6 victories and 4 losses. We work with another team, so you're not out there by yourself. You're always working along with the second robot. So sometimes you go up against the best robot in the state, and your partner might not be the best robot in the state, and other times you might have a very strong partner. So there's a little bit of luck involved with the whole alliance or the whole selection of who you're working with and that sort of stuff. But yeah, so we are in the state qualifier. We'll go there. An aspect of this that we haven't really talked about yet is there's a whole presentation part where we write a portfolio and we share with judges what we've done, and not just with the robot, but also sharing STEM with the community. We've gone to 3 of our local feeder schools and shown this off. We ran a summer camp this last summer. We went out to feed my starving children and serve together, and all of those things are things we want to do, but it's also things that make us shine a little bit more in the judging, and you can go to state off of your judge performance and also your robot's performance. And there's a whole, part of the team. We have 15 people here, and there's some who never even touch the robot. Their whole job is to put together the presentation or write the papers or work with some of that sort of stuff.
Let's say there's a lot, running through that list, I'm thinking there's a lot more than just the couple competitions that you mentioned and the big one coming up. And obviously, to design this, there's a lot going on, and it does take more than the 3 of you, right? Can you, Jacob, can you tell us the tasks that this thing is able to do that you're expected to do within competition?
Okay, so this year we have 3 tasks to do while we're competing. We have to be able to pick up these little round hexagon-shaped pieces called pixels. That's what our intake for, that green piece at the front there. And then we have to be able to, also do an autonomous, which is the robot drives itself and places those pixels in different places throughout the field based on different, it's random where we have to place them, so we can't just program and just pick whatever program every time. It's randomized, so we have to program the robot to be able to detect the situation and react based on that. Another thing, which was quite a challenge for us this year, was the drone launcher. For that, we have to shoot a paper airplane over the truss in the middle of the field, which is about, I think it was 2 to 3 feet high. And then we also have to get it to land accurately outside of the field. So that was our biggest challenge. It took us the longest to figure that out. We're just getting it down now. And then lastly, the hanging from the truss. That's what this hook is on the back of our arm. So that'll go up in the middle of the field, grab that bar, and lift the robot off the ground and hang it in the air.
Okay. All right, it's cool. Yeah, I definitely want to see this in action. I think we will in just a second here. I'm going to turn away from the robotics team for just a second. I'd like to ask all of you, first of all, favorite subject in school?
Oh, definitely STEM.
I was to say there couldn't have been an option there, right? How about for you, Ryan?
I would say math is my favorite subject.
Okay, and then how about, do you do any other clubs or sports at Chicago Christian?
I used to do theater, but I actually dropped that this year so I could focus on robotics. Because as Mr. Verver said, I'm kind of like the leader in this team right now. And so I wanted to be able to focus on this and try and guarantee our way into state.
This sounds like a full-time gig. I mean, between the presentations, the design, the coding, the constructing, and it sounds like there's some tweaking going on throughout the process, right? Ryan, how about you? Any other club sports or activities?
Yeah, so I'm a part of the varsity boys bowling team as well as the boys volleyball team, which is coming up in the spring.
Okay, wow, so you're a busy guy too. Okay.
If I can just say, most of our team is involved in a lot of different things, so that's a big part of it. It is a year-round program, but we lose a bunch for soccer in the fall, and then we lose some for bowling. Then, spring sports will start here in a week, and we'll lose some more that they're in track. So it's a constant thing of trying to get people who can, are very committed during their off season, but they're still committed during their season. Our practices go until 7 p.m. so that these guys can come after their sports practice at 5:30 and still put in an hour or be a part of the team there. We always practice on Saturdays, often Saturday afternoons, so that they can come after their games or whatever. So these guys are really committed.
No, that's wonderful. One of the things I definitely liked about Chicago Christian High School that students can do those multiple things, after other events or sports or activities. Let me put one more to both of you, even though Ryan, I know you're a junior, right? So you're a sophomore, so this might be way too far. But Jacob, you are a senior, right? Plans after high school. I want you to enjoy the next few months, but a few months is not far away. Do you have plans after high school yet?
I'm planning on going to college and majoring in computer engineering. I don't have a plan of where yet. I've narrowed it down to a couple colleges, but I'm still working on that.
Okay, so this is definitely related to, the experience in that. Ryan, do you think post-high school yet, or is that too far?
I am planning to go to college somewhere, probably a small Christian college, and major in something to do with computers, but I haven't fully decided yet.
All right, well, you have a little bit of time. A couple years yet, figure that out. That's okay, good luck. And then a final question, or maybe questions for both of you, is like a favorite moment being part of the robotics team the last year or 2 years. Maybe it was something this season. And then I'm also going to ask you after that, what do you like best about being part of robotics? But how about a best moment or, event or competition?
Yeah, my favorite part, the summer camp this past summer was one of my favorite parts because I kind of organized all of that, and then really I kind of sat at my desk and watched these guys do everything, right? As they worked with these, 3rd through 8th graders, they showed them what they were doing. The kids were excited, they were excited. We got to showcase the robot, all that sort of stuff. Like the competitions are fun and the activities are fun, but just to kind of, at the end of the season to see my kids just kind of work on their own and for me to just step back. I've coached other sports over my years, and you really can't always do that, and here just to see these guys able to just, they didn't need me. I could have left and gone have a cup of coffee or go and had lunch, and they would have been just fine without me. So that was good.
Let's say that's got to be tremendously fulfilling because we would say that's front loading, right? I mean, you did all the work up front to make those things possible, and obviously you did a great job doing it because they were able to execute that plan. How about for you guys? What was the best or favorite moment this past year, let's say?
I enjoyed leading the team. Like last year, I had a role in charge, but I wasn't, like this year, I'm practically leading the team. Like if Mr. Verver's not there, I'm in charge.
You like being the guy. All right, good. And well, that's exciting. Good luck, especially with the tight competition coming up. Ryan, what about for you?
My favorite moment was probably after the season last year when we went back to my old middle school and presented our robot, which was pretty cool, and we were just trying to get people into the organization.
I could see where that would be fun, going as a high school student, going back to like your grade school or the junior high and showing them what you're up to. That would be pretty cool. And then final question for all of you. What do you like best about being part of the robotics team at Chicago Christian High School?
Yeah, I really like the collaboration in this program. The first robotics, it's really amazing. Again, having coached other stuff, and it's always competitive, and you're not going to tell the other team what you're doing. And here, just the unique thing that we're competing against Robot A in match 1, but there are partners later on that day in match 7 or something like that. So we're working, we're collaborating. This part of this was basically given to us by another team, like, hey, you should try to do this. So just that collaboration is something I've really never seen before in my career until I did the robotics, and kind of refreshing.
I was going to say, the collaboration part has got to be exciting because, like you said, you're competing with them, but you're also working with them, right? And that's a different type of relationship. How about for you guys? What do you like best about being part of the robotics team?
So one thing that I like is we've been making memes about just like dumb or funny things that happen, and we have a whole catalog in it of our group chat where it's just like hundreds of them. I downloaded all of them the other day. We have tons.
Say it's got to be nice to hit. There's a other thing going on. There's that social dimension. You guys having fun together. Ryan, what about for you?
I would say for me, it's the many chances that this program gives you to think logically about things and to really think, how am I going to do this, and the challenges and just the ability to work through them.
That is, as a coach, you got to love that too, right? The idea that, hey, there's going to be challenges and we're going to work through them, or we're going to find a way to handle that. Tremendously powerful feeling and rewarding, right, to take that on. All right, Coach, thank you very much. Jacob, Ryan, thank you guys. Good luck. Good luck post-high school. Good luck down the road. Hopefully robotics has a long, great career here for you guys. I'm Dave Wurzel, and you've been watching PHTV4 Spotlight. Today's Spotlight has been on the robotics team at Chicago Christian High School in Palos Heights. Thank you for watching.